Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. Marcus Aurelius. Jordan Peterson, the real Jordan Peterson, might be back. After Dr. Peterson's widely panned appearance on Jubilee's Surrounded, where he was taken on by 20 atheists, not all of whom were bratty empty vessels, Peterson has done 3 analysis videos breaking down classic fairy tales. First Snow White, then Hansel and Gretel, and now another deep dive into the meaning of dragons. It's great. Maps of meaning, finding the truth inside human myths. This video that you're watching is about failure and how we can all move beyond defeat. To do that, I'm going to talk a bit more about Jordan Peterson's appeal and connect that to another famous failure by a well-known academic you'll probably recognize. So like I said, Peterson is back to analyzing classic children's stories. On top of that, he's announced a new series revisiting maps of meaning for his online Peterson Academy. It's really interesting. I think Peterson might be finally aware that this is part of why he was so loved in the first place. His explanations of The Lion King, Pinocchio, and Beauty and the Beast. We're inspired by that same idea ourselves on Geeky Stoics, that fairy tales and archetypes help us understand the complexities of the real world. Wonder and imagination tap us into reality more than most things. But what about Peterson's errors in recent years? Peterson has weighed in on his Jubilee appearance on the George Janko podcast after disappearing for a few months, and to be honest, I'm not super impressed by his explanation of what happened on Jubilee. He framed it as a setup job where the challengers were prepped to face a Christian, and he didn't agree to be anything other than Jordan Peterson. I've been on Jubilee for Middle Ground and experienced something similar where I agreed to do a pro-Elon Musk versus fired federal workers conversation, basically facing off with people directly affected by Doge. But it ended up actually being pro-Elon Musk versus anti-Elon, and as a result, the debate was completely different in character. It's less about the merits of certain ideas or cutting certain agencies down, and it became more about debating Elon's character and whether or not he's a good dad. It's still weird to me given the prompts that Jordan Peterson chose.
Atheists reject God, but they don't understand what they're rejecting. That morality and purpose cannot be found within science. Everybody worships something, including atheists, even though they might not know it.
For Jubilee and how poorly he did still responding to those. There was immediate anger, indignation, the attitude of a man under siege rather than a joyful warrior who loves rhetoric, reason, and debating. Many of you pointed out in the comments of our reaction video that he's lost his edge and the spirit of an educator. I think that's right. Peterson has a higher responsibility to be in control of himself than his challengers just by dint of his experience. And something I haven't said on this channel yet about Peterson's debate failure was that I believe it could be an opportunity for renewal and a pivot back to his foundations. Because defeat happens, and for intellectuals and public people, it can shock you into a greater awareness of your weaknesses and inform you of your blind spots that you might have in your views. No tree becomes rooted and sturdy unless many a wind attack it. Trials of adversity do not uproot the spirits of wise men. They merely shake them. That's the Stoic Seneca. We should all want to be shaken like that tree from time to time by wind, by opposition, because it does make us stronger. In 1948, author and Christian apologist C.S. Lewis participated in a debate at Oxford University against Elizabeth Anscombe about the suppositions of his book Miracles, which is about the case for supernatural events in our world and that miracles are real and foundational to Christian belief. The subject of disagreement in their debate is pretty complex and not that important to this video, but C.S. Lewis lost to this young woman in a very public way in front of his friends and colleagues and admirers. Some accounts say that he was deeply ashamed and upset. Others say that it's a bit of an exaggeration, but what we do know somewhere in the middle is that Lewis went so far as to withdraw from a BBC debate invitation on Christianity and wrote that he felt he'd lost his dialectic power, like the toothless snake in the Jungle Book. He's at the peak of his celebrity at this point, and for him to get knocked down in this way was pretty dramatic. And it reminded me a lot of what I saw with Jordan Peterson on Jubilee. He's lost his dialectic power. For whatever reason, he's unable to debate or tolerate challenge, even when it's obnoxious, and worse, when it's good faith and reasonable. And he seems confused philosophically because Jordan Peterson might be coming around to faith in God, in theism, as a matter of fact, rather than just seeing it as a myth or a map of meaning. I really don't believe that Jordan Peterson has been pandering lately. I think he's actually just confused about what he believes right now, which is why he's been doing these Daily Wire series on the Old Testament and the Gospels and writing his latest book, We Who Wrestle with God. And that's okay. It's okay for your views to evolve, to become confused in some way. It will happen to me, and it will happen to you, it will happen to all of us. So what matters most is what you do next once that confusion begins. C.S. Lewis did grapple with what happened in this debate. He didn't hide from it. He reworked his logic in Miracles for an updated printing of the book, and he shored up his arguments. He learned and grew as a debater and a public intellectual. C.S. Lewis had become incredibly famous by this time for Mere Christianity and the Screwtape Letters, and he thought he was done. He thought that was just the end of his career. After this experience, when things seemed darkest, Lewis stepped into the wardrobe and he found his way to the Chronicles of Narnia. The best is so often yet to come. You have to keep going, and you have to remember what you care about and what motivates you in the first place. Those first principles are what will help you when you actually encounter defeat. What Jordan Peterson needed to do is exactly what he's now doing, which is returning to the foundations of his movement and the audience that loves his mind and the way that he thinks, and in some cases overthinks these stories. Fairy tales and our larger quest for meaning in the universe is his foundation, right next to making your bed and lobster ethics.
So this is it, Lobster King. The end of Western civilization.
Watch the new videos on Hansel and Gretel and Snow White over on Peterson's channel. They're very sharp and a return to form. I'm Ryan Reynolds. Sorry, Stephen. And you're watching Geeky Stoics. You can get involved in our community of nerd philosophy over at geekystoics.com and on our Discord. And we hope to see you in the comments section going deeper into these issues and misidentifying me with a certain actor associated with Deadpool.